INEOS Automotive North America is opening new dealerships in the U.S. in 2025. Where will they be? You'll find out in just a moment. But first, let's talk a little bit about what happened this week. This week at the National Automobile Dealers Association Conference, in a joint interview between INEOS Automotive President of the Americas George Ratcliffe and Executive VP of the Americas Gregor Hembrough, we learned some key objectives and targets, including the expansion of the dealer network for both the US and Canada. Hi, it's Josh, and today I thought you might find this news a little interesting, so let's jump in. Let's start with, first, a little background. As of the beginning of 2025, INEOS has a network of 26 U.S. dealers and 2 Canadian dealers, making North America region, which is now overseen by George Ratcliffe, son of Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who replaced Greg Clark after his departure last year. And as a side note, since his arrival, it's said that INEOS Automotive is looking to find a new home for its corporate headquarters, which is currently in Raleigh, North Carolina. Now, I'm not sure if that's because of the new leadership or what other factors are prompting a relocation, so we'll see how that plays out. And back to the dealer network, in their interview, they listed 9 new U.S. INEOS Grenadier dealership locations targeted to open in the U.S. in 2025, and another 2 being evaluated for Canada. So here's the list that they cited: Orlando, Florida; Charlotte, North Carolina; Charleston, South Carolina; Sacramento, California; Minneapolis, Minnesota; New York City, Las Vegas, and 2 in New Jersey, one serving the north part of the state and one serving south. As for Canada, they said that they were still evaluating sites for the 2 Canadian dealerships, but will most likely take a look at Calgary and Montreal. It's been reported that over 250 auto dealers in the U.S. have applied for a dealership. However, INEOS was quick to point out that they see profitability as paramount for each dealership that they open, and they won't be adding dealerships to a saturated market. They're only looking to add to new markets where a dealer will have enough volume for profitability. So I guess what that means to you is that your nearest Grenadier dealer will always be your nearest Grenadier dealer, at least for these early days of INEOS Automotive. Interesting points from the interview were that they frequently referred to the Grenadier as being classed with other luxury SUVs, and that the market space is strong and would have continued growth. Okay, so Ratcliffe goes on to say that INEOS is targeting probably close to 50% growth in the U.S. for sales in 2025 after delivering 8,000 Grenadier SUVs in 2024. Another side note, we keep hearing 10,000 sales in the U.S., and now I'm hearing 8,000. And in a recent press release, Lynn Calder stated that they were proud to have more than 20,000 Grenadiers on the roads worldwide. So it's truly a guess as to how many they really sold in the U.S. INEOS is a private company and so far has not reported unit sales to the auto industry data gatherers. However, another way that sales is judged is by reported registration data for new vehicles. And as soon as that comes out for a full year of 2024, we'll revisit that number. So be sure to subscribe if you want to be notified when that comes out. Now, going back to the 50% growth target, Gregor Hembrough, the INEOS EVP, stated that the new quartermaster was expected to account for about 15% of targeted 2025 deliveries. As you may know, the factory went back into production on January 9th after the Recaro hiccup, and they expect the first quartermasters to be arriving stateside in late March or early April. Another interesting mention was that they were going to shift away from encouraging every customer to order a custom-built car, and that INEOS plans to have 3/4 of all deliveries pre-configured by the factory so that dealers could have stock on the lot. His comment was, "We understand what sells well in the U.S., so we're maneuvering into a world where it's a more simple journey for a customer. However, customers can still order a unique configuration if they desire." I think it comes from the fact that there are more than a few Frankenstein Grenadiers sitting on dealer lots as canceled orders where the customer didn't understand the order process and maybe ordered a winch but not the front and rear lockers, or some other strange or lacking configuration that limits the use, mostly off-road use, of a Grenadier. On-road, they're all good, but I'm guessing that the U.S. buyers are still often overwhelmed by having to make all of these choices, which frankly only make the most sense to those nut jobs like me who want to select every aspect of the vehicle, or those buying a Grenadier with off-road intentions. For 2025, marketing and advertising aimed at introducing INEOS will be a major priority, Ratcliffe states. If there's one single thing for 2025 that we'll do differently, it's brand awareness. Well, let's hope they have some other customer-centric objectives on their list too. Leave a comment with your wish list for INEOS in 2025. I know that some of you that are considering a Grenadier or Quartermaster might have a different list than those of us who already own one, but the one thing you won't see, because I do get this comment often, is a lower price. I predict that INEOS will continue to focus on upmarket ambitions for the Grenadier and know that they have an affluent customer base who will always step up if the product is good. In fact, they commented on their customer demographic. Grenadier customers are affluent and they pay cash for their vehicles at a higher rate than the industry average. Dealers want to protect that customer base. They can see who likes the brand and who wants the brand. And remember that George Ratcliffe was the brainchild behind Arcane Works and the upcoming Detour. I really think that that's a hint about the future of INEOS and how they see their niche. So for now, be on the lookout for new dealers, hopefully in a city near you, if you're nearby one on the list in 2025. If you're not, be sure that you've registered your interest on the INEOS Grenadier website, as your location and that of the others who register helps to guide INEOS in selecting new cities for locating dealerships. It makes sense that they're looking to locate dealerships where customer demand will sustain them. Anyway, I hope you found some of this interesting. I'll post an update if I learn more. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.